Hello and welcome to this tutorial about the new AS350B3 performance pad. This is the surface or the user interface. You can quickly enter weights for the seats and passengers by using the sliders, or if you click on the value, you can enter the weight manually. This is now kilograms. Of course, you can set pounds as well here in the setup area. Here you can just select between kilograms and pounds. Okay, let's have a look at the quick load function. So if you want to make a weight and balance check real quick, just tap on the corresponding seats and they will be loaded with a predefined weight, here in this case 75 kilograms. So whenever you click on a seat, this will be loaded. And now if you want to change this preload value, just go over here, enter for instance 80 kilograms, and that's it. So now whenever you click on the seat, it will be loaded with 80 kilograms. So that way you can really quick enter the weight. The same is for cargo. So here in the cargo areas, just click on them and specify the preload values. All right, so this is the weight and balance area. You can also enter external load. So let's do a setup real quick. Here for the AS350B3, if you enter external load, you have a different CG envelope, and this will happen automatically. So here, when you enter an external load, you see the external load will be displayed in the center, and also the CG envelope changes. So now it enables 2,800 kilograms, and without external load, it switches back to the standard envelope. Okay, so down here you have fuel. If you enter too less fuel, then you will get a warning for the reserve time. The reserve time is calculated automatically based on the fuel consumption and your flight time. Your fuel consumption is calculated here. So based on the altitude you're flying, your pressure altitude, just move the slider here, the fuel consumption is calculated. So now when you go enter a different flight time, the reserve time will be calculated. So let's click on flight time here, and you will get to the flight time page or the flight page. Here let's enter, for instance, 1 hour and 30 minutes. So now you need more fuel, of course, so you load more fuel, and you see your flight time is 90 minutes, your reserve time is 29 minutes, and you don't get a warning down here in this case. Okay, so now you basically have set up your weight and balance calculation. Now you can click on Send Load Manifest, this button here, and all the values that are calculated are displayed in an email in a table form. So here are the weights, arms and moments, and at the very bottom you find the CG envelope graphics for lateral and longitudinal values. Also, you have an internal load manifest. If you click here on load manifest, you see the load manifest, and you can actually enter and change the arms here using this manifest. So let's say you want to put 50 kilograms on the left seat and you want to change the arms slightly, you can do so in the load manifest, and these values will be saved. And all the values here will be saved with each and every flight that you generate. So let's go back to the flight page here. This page enables you to create flights. I prepared 2. So this one is from A to B, and the next one, you click next flight. The next one is the return flight, B to A. So these 2 flights now contain all the values that you have set up. So in this case here, flight number 1, you had, let's say, 3 passengers, and on flight number 2 you have only 1 passenger, like this. So now when you click back and forth between those 2 flights, you can compare the values and you see what's going on. Also, the date of the flight will be saved. Here in this case, let's say the second flight is on the 14th. Sorry, 1-4. So now you have 1 flight on the 13th and 1 flight on the 14th, B to A, and the other one A to B. And now you can create more and more flights, and all those flights are saved in the iPad. So you can later on go back to the flight that you need and send out a load manifest. Okay, so this was the weight and balance section. Now let's have a look at the performance calculations here. For instance, the OGE calculation, just move a slider to enter the pressure altitude and enter the OAT or difference to ISA. Let's say you want to enter an OAT, and now the OGE is calculated for you. So same with IGE and same with rate of climb. Here in this case a very complex calculation based on 4 charts. So this is the first, the second calculation to get a corrected weight, and then you enter the third chart again with the OAT, and the fourth chart then finally gives you the rate of climb. This is an awful lot of things to do. Of course the iPad app does that in a second, so it's very convenient to just play around with the numbers and see what happens. So you will find all those performance values also at the bottom of the load manifest. Here is the performance data, IGE, OGE, fuel flow, and so forth. All right, and now my favorite page is this one actually here. This calculates the OGE ceiling, which is quite a complex calculation. I didn't know that in the beginning, so it was quite complex to derive the value here from a variety of formulas. And now it's really easy to see where you are and what you can do. So let's say you're a little heavier. Let's load up the helicopter a little bit more, like so. Now you notice the OGE ceiling is way lower. It was here and now it's here. That's because, of course, there's more weight in the helicopter. And now if you change the pressure altitude, if you fly higher, once you have reached the OGE ceiling, you will get a warning. So here you can actually visualize where you are. And now if you change the altimeter setting, like so, you see that the right side is moving. Why is that? The right side is the pressure altitude. So the pressure altitude levels, so to say. So if you lower the altimeter setting, or the air pressure, so to say, if you have a storm coming or bad weather is coming, so you lower this, then you see that the actual 20,000 feet level, for instance, is lower than the MSL value. That means if you fly on the 20,000 pressure altitude, then you are flying lower than the actual 20,000. If the air pressure is higher, you're flying higher. So mountains are higher in winter. That is the thing to remember. So here you can actually visualize this and press the Set ISA button to set the ISA standards again. So this was the quick overview about the AS350B3. There's also one version for the B2 and B1 out there, but they are quite the same, so I don't do extra video tutorials for them, as they are almost the same. One last thing here is the E6B button. Of course, we have to click this once, and here is the internal or built-in E6B. So now you can zoom in somewhere, and let's say you want to fly from LA to Phoenix. Let's do this real quick. Push the set track button, and now click here to set the first or starting point, and then in Phoenix is your arrival, for instance. Then you can click use track, and there you go. So now you have a true course, and now you can enter the wind direction. Let's say we have north easterly wind, and the wind is, let's say, 20 knots. So here you can set the wind, and you see the red arrow here shows your compass heading. So this is calculated based on the wind direction. So if you want to, or if you can quickly change the wind just by using the slider, and you get a flight time out of this. So if you want to have a flight time from LA to Phoenix, you can do this real quick. And of course, you can do the return flight in no time. Just change the true course to the other side, and there you go. Your return flight would be 2 hours and 25 minutes, and the flight to Phoenix would be 2 hours or almost 3 hours due to the wind. Okay, so let's close this. That was the brief overview. It was not brief, it was long, 10 minutes. Thanks for listening, and let me know what you think. I'm always open for suggestions and feedback. Thank you very much.